Hi guys, welcome to Chicanol Health Life. I'm Laura Termini, creator of chicanol.com, and today we're gonna talk about food, of course. And let me introduce you my guest today, Lesley Klein. Okay, to say all right, is an oncology dietitian at the University of Miami U Health System. You can book an appointment at 305-243-1000. So, new research and diet trends are changing all the time, including what foods are good for you and which are not. Depending on what you're reading, some might even make you question fruits all the time. So we ask ourselves, can you get too much of a good thing? Users of the world, take note. So welcome to Chicken All Life.
You.
So let's talk about food. The mono diet is something that I remember hearing about when I was working on TV, because you know all the actresses were always on a diet. And I remember one actress in particular eating rice all day because it was good for the diet. It was back then, like 20 years ago. And now the mono diet is a trend now, has become one of the most heavily researched diets on the internet. So what's your take on it? Yes or no?
I'll give you a thumbs down.
Okay.
Diets don't work. There's a beginning, there's an end, and there's a failure somewhere in between.
Okay.
So it's got to be a change in lifestyle, something that you can actually live with that's going to make a difference down the road. And so when you're looking at one food, one particular food like rice or potatoes or whatever it is, there's no such thing as a perfect food.
Okay.
So that's why there's such a variety out there. So if you do something and you lose weight and then you're done, what happens? You go back doing the same old thing, the same old way, and you get the same old results. It has to be something that's sustainable, that you can live with for the rest of your life, making better choices more often, and makes a big difference down the road.
Let's talk then about the word diet, which is something that I think is that's like a nightmare to me, because
Right.
I grew up in a country where everybody all the time was on a diet. And then you grow old and you're like, okay, should I be on a diet for my whole life until I die?
So diet, if you really think about it, is whatever you're eating.
Okay.
So if I'm a vegetarian, I'm on a vegetarian diet. And if I'm kosher, I eat a kosher diet. So really, when we think about diet, a lot of us say, oh, a diet to make me lose weight.
Wait, exactly.
But like I said, diets like that don't work.
It's like our brain is just like linked to the word diet
Right.
and losing weight.
So what we're trying to do is your diet is what you eat, period.
Okay.
Okay.
How do you change everybody's mind? it's kind of difficult. Whether it's a juice, detox, or paleo, keto, or monotropic, do we need this to be healthy? Do we need to follow like a certain diet path? Do we follow that diet path every time that we want to lose weight, or just forever?
The ideal way to go through life is to be eating something that you can sustain for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Like I said before, if you go on a diet, that means you go off of a diet. So if you haven't learned something, then you're going to go back doing the same old thing the same old way and get the same old results. It's a change in lifestyle. So for instance, if I'm drinking coffee, 5 cups of coffee in the morning to keep me awake, and I really want to lose weight, and I don't want to go on a diet, but I want to make a change in my lifestyle that's going to make a difference. Maybe all I do is I get rid of the cream in my coffee. And if I get rid
Yes.
of 5 cups of coffee with cream, I'm probably going to lose weight doing that. And it wasn't this huge, massive change. It was one little thing that made a big difference.
And I remember I used to be a vegetarian for like a year and a half. I tried very hard, but it wasn't working for me. I was not feeling good. And even though like my diet right now is 80-20, I can say 80% of my diet is vegetarian and 20% of lean protein. That's that's when something changed in my mind and in my body, that I was not suffering anymore about the process of dieting and
Correct.
dieting myself to death.
So basically what you've said is the new American plate.
Yes.
So the American Institute for Cancer Research and the American Cancer Society got together, came up with guidelines for cancer prevention. Be of ideal body weight, eat lots of fruits and veggies, don't drink, don't smoke, exercise, blah, 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 blah. But then the American Institute for Cancer Research said, well, what do we do with all the people that already have a diagnosis? They looked at the guidelines for prevention and they said, actually, they're really very good for living beyond cancer. But when they looked at the American diet, they said, oh my God, the number one killer in the United States is heart disease, number two is cancer, and they've both been linked with their diet. So they wanted to revamp what the American plate should look like.
Okay.
When you look at your plate, 2/3 of it should be covered in plant food and 1/3 animal. And the reason is because we know inflammation is an intricate component to lots of chronic conditions, including diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and cancer. And the two main things that cause inflammation are sugar and animal protein.
And
So-
animal protein as well.
So
So
you
how do you
don't-
balance it out?
By doing, if we go to an extreme, people can't manage that.
Like
So
keto
that's-
diet that is only,
So-
or paleo that people are eating a lot of animal.
Right. So that's why if you do the 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 of your plate is covered in plant food and 1/3 is animal protein. Now, protein's important. If you're trying to lose weight, you don't just break down fat when you lose weight, you break down lean muscle. And your muscle is part of, well, it's made of protein, but it's also part of that ratio of your metabolism. When you lose weight, you lose fat and muscle. You gain weight, you gain fat. Then you try to lose weight the second time, you lose fat and muscle. And then you gain weight, you gain fat again. That ratio of lean muscle to fat keeps getting wider and wider, which is what your metabolism is based on. So it's harder and harder to lose weight every time. If you eat good sources of protein while you're losing weight, you're maintaining your muscle mass. But now we're talking about, well, animal protein
Yes.
increases inflammation. Well, how do I get more protein in? I could do beans, I could do lentils, I can do hummus, I can do quinoa.
Yes.
So those are all plant-based foods that are high in protein.
Let's talk about sugar.
Okay.
Because you mentioned sugar, and I remember when we started the juicing life, that everybody were into juicing, and I started doing some juicing detox, and it was better when I was doing it guided by a nutritionist, because I was in this retreat and I was just living the life and the spa life and retreat at your yoga. But when I came back home, I was trying to do the juicing, and it wasn't too good for my stomach. And then I found out, because my doctor told me, the enzymes of my stomach were not prepared to digest that kind of fruit, or maybe the enzymes of the fruit, because I was drinking too much of one thing. Let's talk about juicing and how can we change our mind when it comes to juicing. Should we do it only for 2 days, 3 days, once a month? How does it work?
I personally am not a fan of juicing.
Oh, okay.
I prefer blending.
Blending. Oh.
So blending is the whole fruit
Okay.
or vegetable, right?
Okay.
Where juicing, you're really just you're extracting the sugar, and you're leaving all of the fiber and a lot of the other antioxidants and nutrients behind.
Oh, I blend my grapes. I drink wine.
So if you
That's a good blending.
Sometimes it's red.
It's red. That's a good source, and anti-aging.
It's a start. Okay, so when it comes to juicing, like I said, you're really losing out on a lot. But what's happening is it takes so much fruit and or vegetables to make one little cup of juice.
It does.
So you're really concentrating a lot of those antioxidants into one little serving.
Mm-hmm.
It depends where you are in your life. If you're just trying to be healthy, the antioxidants, they help tie up free radicals and reduce your risk of skin damage and cancer and things like that. But if you're going through active treatment for a cancer,
Yes.
then you don't want all of those antioxidants.
And
Those
we're gonna talk about-
antioxidants actually have a potential of making your treatment less effective.
So the role of food and diet for cancer treatment is key.
Correct. So when it comes to diet during cancer treatment, we're always looking for enough calories to maintain your weight and then good protein sources, because protein's going to help build up and repair tissue that's being torn down. If you have to have surgery for your cancer treatment, you're going to heal faster with protein. If you lose weight because you're having issues trying to eat during your cancer treatment, you're breaking down lean muscle. That's going to make you feel weak and tired. We need protein to help build you back up. And if you have chemotherapy where it affects some of your normal cells, those cells are going to heal faster when you have protein on board.
Does that apply to other chronic diseases or people who are suffering from Parkinson or Alzheimer?
So you still need your protein, but again, try to choose a lot of your protein from your plant-based foods and only use small portions of the animal protein to decrease the inflammation.
Is there any connection between food preservatives and cancer?
So there's definitely an issue with preservatives that, they've been approved by the Food and Drug Administration.
Yes.
But again, if something's good, more is not necessarily better. So for instance, if you're eating hot dogs, not one of my favorite choices, but let's say you have hot dogs and they've got nitrites in them.
Yes.
Okay, so nitrites is a preservative. Nitrites actually occur naturally in vegetables, more than in a hot dog. So the nitrite itself is probably not an issue. It's probably actually a halfway decent thing. The problem is when that nitrite gets heated at a very high temperature, like on the grill with that hot dog.
Oh, wow.
That's where it turns into a nitrosamine, which then can lead to cancer. But most vegetables are not going to be heated at such a high temperature, so that's not going to be an issue. But when you're looking at some of those
Is the way we
meats.
prepare food as well.
Correct.
That we don't have enough information because we are all the time rushing, like the juicing. Like I think juicing started because people didn't have time
for breakfast.
Right. And then juicing or blending is better, as you said. But we don't have time to prepare our food, and that comes to just go to the supermarket and buy also prepare meals.
Right.
That are high in sodium as well.
Right. So now, if you look at some of those companies out there, like Blue Apron or something like that, where they send you the little box, but it's healthier stuff than, and you don't have to think about all of the ingredients because they're already there, but you just prepare it versus all of these convenience foods that have lots of preservatives in there and a lot of extra stuff.
So I'm here with Lesley Klein. She's an oncology dietitian at the University of Miami Health System. If you want to book an appointment, you can call at 305-243-1000. And this also on Instagram. Thank you, Lesley.
Thank you. And here's to your good health.
Thank you. Bye-bye.